Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome you to a new episode of League of Myths. As usual, please do not forget to throw in a like if you end up enjoying this video. And without much further ado, let's go into the first myth. The first myth is asking, will Scion's ultimate display Zara's plant, clones, tippers, Heimer's towers, or things of the sort? So if you are unaware with Scion's new ultimate, whenever he is dashing with it, he will actually go right through minions, kind of pushing them aside while dealing damage, as you saw there. So with that being said, we're testing to see if the same interaction happens with all of the things mentioned earlier. First we tested with the Heimer tower, he goes right through it, Shackle box right through it, and Shackle's clone, he actually ends up stopping at it as if it is a champion, since clones seem to be treated as champions in the code. Next we decided to test it with Zara's W, Zara's plant, and Tibbers. I run right over the seed, deal 1 damage to the plant but do not displace it, and deal damage and knock up the Tibbers. So it does seem like the plant has kind of a unique interaction there. But then we also decided to test it with something like a ghost. So we end up using Yorick's ultimate to ult Gragas, and we let the Gragas take control of the ghost. And as he positions himself, I pop my ultimate and I run right at him. But even though it's a ghost and not a clone, it still ends up stopping the ultimate. So we thought maybe it's because the player is still controlling the ghost, therefore treated like a champion. So then we tested with the regular version of the ghost, this time Yorick controlling it, thinking that it won't be treated as a champion, but the ultimate still stops at it. The second myth is going to be asking, if Nami E's a LeBlanc clone, will its auto attacks now deal damage? So once again, if you're unaware, LeBlanc's clone can auto attack, but its base auto attacks do not deal any damage, as also stated within the tooltip. So the first thing we're testing is if Nami is able to put a change to that. As I position my clone, Nami puts the buff on the clone, it starts auto attacking the Gragas, and you can see that it is actually dealing damage. AKA the auto attacks are still proccing Nami's buff, even though it doesn't deal any damage. So then we decided to test it with Lulu's buff. Same thing happens, we proc the passive, Lulu puts the shield onto LeBlanc with the Pixie, but as LeBlanc's clone is attacking, it is not activating the Pixie's auto attacks, making it seem like it only works with on-hit effects, but not on-attack effects. The third myth of this episode is asking, how does Poppy's ultimate interact with Quicksilver's Sash or Cleanse? So from personal experience, I do remember QSS being able to remove the Poppy debuff that you put on a target, but Poppy is still immune. So we end up testing it out once again, and as I put my ultimate on Morgana, she pops the Cleanse this time. Udyr is unable to stun me while my damage amplification buff is still on the Morgana. So we learned that hard CC will not affect it, but what about a snare, and this time using QSS instead? I use my ultimate on the Udyr, he pops QSS, Morgana is still unable to bind me because the ultimate is still active. But what's more interesting is the fact that my debuff that it places on Udyr is still active on him even after the QSS. So I was thinking maybe it's some kind of bug, so I look at the numbers. If you were to QSS to try and remove the damage amplification that my ultimate provides, we see the damage applied was 117 and 268, using auto attack and then Q. Now comparing the exact same damage numbers, but this time without using QSS, it still does the exact same damage. Therefore we can conclude that QSS no longer removes any part of Poppy's ultimate, not even just the debuff that she places on her target. And the final myth of this episode, is it possible to get negative AD? So this is definitely quite a simple myth. We look at Nidalee and we see that she has 52 AD, so I use Trundle Q and Tryndamere W, and then Nidalee has minus 13 AD. And as you can see, her auto attacks are doing 0 damage. So you can clearly have negative AD. But we started thinking, if you do have negative AD and do 0 damage, if you auto attack Dragon, will it still aggro it? So as we prepare to give Nidalee her negative AD, she has negative 13 this time, auto attacks Dragon, but it still aggroes Dragon even though she didn't do any damage. Alright guys, that unfortunately does mark the end of this episode of League of Myths. If you did enjoy, please do not forget to throw in a like and share it with your friends. You can also have a chance to be featured in the next episode. All you have to do is submit your own myth that I select. And you can do so by either leaving a comment underneath this video, posting on my Facebook fan page Redmercy LOL, or tweeting at me, also at Redmercy LOL. But once again, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode, and I hope to see you for the next one. Peace!